So everybody's freaking out about these four black people who kidnapped and tortured that white kid, a retarded white kid, in Chicago the other day. It's been a couple days. The indignation has done nothing but grow and grow and grow. Guess that's good. If you have any indignation to spare, pull it out. You're going to need it. Because that stuff that happened in Chicago was a couple days ago. What about what's in the news today? What did we learn today? Why don't we start in Philadelphia, where four black people broke into the home of an 81-year-old dude, white dude. They robbed him, they beat him, they tortured him, and they stole his money. Well, that kind of sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Scammers posing as utility workers are on the run after forcing their way into a home in Port Richmond. They blindsided and robbed an elderly man who thought there was a gas leak in the area. Action News reporter Vernon Odom is live now at the scene along Emerald Street with the details on this. Vern.
Good evening, Shari. They ruthlessly prey on the poor and the elderly. It's an age-old game. Police know it very well. Crooks have been passing it down through many generations. This is the victim of the home invasion, 87-year-old Richard Nowakowski, a former teacher at Frankfort High School. He told detectives that around midday, at least four men in their 20s, some wearing hoodies, knocked on his door in the 3500 block of Emerald Street. His nephew picks up the story from there.
He said he was from the gas company, showed him a badge. My uncle cracked the door, said, I'm going to call the gas company to verify. They pushed in the door.
They turned around, they told him if he didn't give them money or whatever, that they were going to beat him up.
The hoodlums ransacked the house, police say, and made off with more than $1,000 and Nowakowski's cell phone. They left on foot and remain at large at this hour. His relatives had told the feeble senior citizen not to keep cash around, and they hope to move him out of his home of at least 40 years sometime tonight. Shari, this victim apparently tried to phone the PGW, the gas works, but he was overpowered and not in time. The victim is being comforted by relatives at this hour. They say he's quite emotionally shaken, but physically okay.
Why don't we move on up to Utica, New York, where four black people, let me see, they kidnapped somebody, they shot him, they beat him. I guess that's a black thing now. Kidnapping, shooting, robbing, beating. Who knew? This guy on the left, down in Kentucky, this guy on the left in Paris, Kentucky. Well, he killed that old white chick, and he stuffed her body into the crawl space of a house. Well, it didn't take long to figure out she was up there. It didn't take long to figure out who did it. Just another case of black on white violence nobody seems to be too indignant about. How about you? Got any indignity left? How about, you might need it for this case. This black guy on the left lived in the same apartment complex as this white chick on the right down in Catawba, North Carolina. She was a school teacher. He was nothing but a loser, a drifter, a grifter, a guy that somehow got a rent-free apartment in this complex. He saw the teacher coming to and from work every day, so he started to chat her up. Hey, baby, you like black men? She reminded him, well, that doesn't really make a difference to her, the color of the skin. It really depends on the person. This was a teacher. This was a guidance counselor who had everything in front of her, everything going for her. Her life, and all of a sudden she encounters this complete 100% loser. Now she's dead. The only thing anybody's going to remember about this dude is when they came to pick him up, he was laughing. He was laughing, and now he pled guilty to avoid the death penalty. So those are four stories right there, each one worse than the last. Each one could be, if you know, at least, especially the killings, the last two killings, they're definitely worse than what happened to that retarded kid in Chicago. And I don't want to hear any grief about calling this kid retarded. If you call him mentally challenged, if you call him, challenged or whatever the hell the PC word is, that does nothing but cover up how vulnerable he is to the black predators he was in school with who tortured him. That's why he was tortured, because we don't really let people know what happens when you put a white kid in school with a bunch of black people. It's not pretty. And when you go to the principals, when you go to the school board members, when you go to the school superintendents and you say, what's up with all that black and white violence in your school? They look at you with sorrow and remind you that, well, you know, it's a school thing and it's kind of confidential, so we can't tell you anything at all about it. But I can tell you one thing, our numbers are down. And telling people the numbers are going down when you're talking about black on white crime, black on white violence, black on white criminality, black mob violence, black on Asian, black on gay, black on young, black on old, black on man, black on woman. That is one surefire way not to make the black kids angry.